Hey everybody, good to be with you today. As usual, this is our weekly where we kind of reach out to you, Cleaning Nation, to answer the questions that you have. If you have a question, you can email Lindsay at growmycleaningcompany.com or just join the Facebook group for free. That said, what usually the lovely Lindsay has a theme and we answer questions on that theme. So what's the theme? Who's the first question? Let's get some value to these fine people.
All right, Mike. I thought the commercial cleaning companies could use some love. I feel like they've been neglected lately. So I wanted to know what their biggest challenges were right now. And there's a lot of them. So let's dive in. First email we got was from Jennifer. She said, once I send the proposal, the follow-up sucks for me. It's always that they're negotiating, and I don't know how many times I should follow up after sending a commercial proposal.
It's a great question, and we get that quite a bit. So I'm glad to address it, Jennifer. So, like most of the things that happen that we don't like in the sales process happened upstream, and we didn't know something went wrong, but they're already gone. And then you guys go, once I've done that mistake, how do I fix it at the end? And it's like, I don't know that you do, right? So the first thing is, we kind of do this. I want to be professional and follow up. But the reality is it's not professionalism, it's neediness, right? If I call Lindsay, if I give Lindsay a proposal and I give her a call, I'll be like, hey, and she ignores my call, especially when she took my calls before I gave her the proposal. And all of a sudden now she's ignoring my calls. She's given me my answer, right? She's told me, piss off. She's not interested. So we're like, I just want to encourage you, feel free to give up on that whole, like, I'm being professional, right? I'm not saying you can't follow up, but the thing's already happened, right? Like I always use dating. If I go on a date with a girl and I loved it and I'm like, oh, I want to see her again. And I call her again and she doesn't call me back. I kind of have my answer, right? It's like, well, how do I follow up with her to get her going on a date again? It's like, well, the right answer is to do a good job, have a good date that she wants to hang out with me. So she wants to call me back, not have a bad date. And how do I get her back, back interested? Like, well, the ship has sailed. So the way that we coach our clients is, believe it or not, Jennifer, we don't even give a bid without a commitment as to what's going to happen next. So if we don't have a clear agreement on next steps, I'm not going to give a bid because I don't need any practice. So when we set up the process, typically we get an agreement that we can be honest with one another. If for whatever reason I don't think they're a fit, because we want to go into this not as me trying to sell them something, but as an expert trying to help them get clarity on their problem and offer a solution. And if I know, because of my expertise, that my company is the best poised to solve their problem, well, then I will advocate very hard for them to get the help that they need and allow us to do that. If not, I'll point them in a different direction, right? So we get off of this whole, we're trying to sell them something or manipulating and doing what we want, and into the energy of how can I help them get clear on what their problem is and help them solve it. And when we do that, we can just say, for whatever, if for whatever reason we're not a fit, will you tell us? And they'll usually go, yes, I will tell you. And for whatever reason, if we're not a fit, may I tell you and try and give you a different solution? And they're going to say, yes, we're happy to do that. Or yes, you may tell us that. And then you go, what on your end? Because I was like them leading the charge. What would you like to see happen? If I give you a bid and the price is right, we can do it. What would you like to see happen? And they'll typically go, well, we'll get you started, or I have to talk to my board, or whatever the case is. And we solve that problem before you give a bid. Once you've given a bid and they have all the information they need, they have no interest to call you back, tell you what the real problem is. So the short answer to your short question, Jennifer, is I don't really know how to, once you've given a bid and they're not interested, I don't know how to get them back interested again. They've probably already gone with somebody else. They just don't want to waste their time talking to you. So set up the bid better so everybody's clear at the beginning what's going to happen and what needs to happen for you to get the job. So before I give a bid, I'm going to have their budget and have an agreement that if they're confident we can help them, and if we come in at or around their budget, they're going to go forward. So I kind of do all the sales work prior to giving a bid. After we give a bid, if they ghost you, it's because you never really had the sale in the first place, right? And you're going to go, no, they told me they were super interested in blah, blah, blah. It's like, I got it. Just like at the end of the date, I'm with Lindsay. She's like, it was great. I really enjoyed it. Yes, we'll hang out again. Yeah. But in her mind, she's going, I cannot get this guy out of my, doorway fast enough. It's because they're being nice human beings. They're trying to be nice human beings, not because they're telling the truth. So I would give yourself permission, Cleaning Nation and Jennifer, if you've given a bid and they don't respond, they're not interested, and just be okay with that and be like, I'll go get another one. Now, might I follow up in 2 or 3 months after they've had it? Because if they pick somebody else, right, they've solved their, so either they're sticking with what they're going, fine, or they pick someone else, fine. Give it some time for that thing to play out. And they're much more likely to call you back then. Like, hey, just it's been 3 months. Want to make sure. I'm assuming you found another option. How they doing for you? And most of the time, it's going to be fine. But they'll, most of the time, they're going to often they pick the cheaper price. There's a reason it's cheaper. They're not happy with their decision. You just want to make sure you're there. But kind of haranguing them days after you gave them the bid, it's not like they're like, I really want Lindsay, but I know her bid was great and she's who I want to go with, but she hasn't called me back, so forget about it, right? Like they've made a decision. So probably not the answer everyone's hoping for, but having done this a minute, that's the answer that I found to be super effective. What say you, Lindsay?
I think that makes sense. And I think you kind of maybe answered the next question we have from Tatiana. I think it's related. But she said she's talking to a commercial client, a small hotel, and they have their own cleaning staff, but they also want her company to come in and do a deep cleaning. So she's getting ready to help them. And then management asks them to bring in her quote unquote, here we go for the podcast listeners, we got air quotes here, a company booklet, whatever that means. So Mike, when companies say stuff like that, like to me, that doesn't sound like something you'd really need to make a decision. Is that an excuse, or how can we help Tatiana when that happens?
I like that question. And yeah, I wish I was good enough to have answered that, but I didn't. I'm excited to talk about that. So first of all, Tatiana, I don't do any one-time cleans at all. I'm just only looking for people I know I can serve at a high level, and the one-time cleans are just a ton of risk and not a lot of upside. Second of all, again, I do want to reinforce the mindset of we got to get out of this. I'm trying to sell somebody something and into, I, as an expert, I'm going to use my expertise to bring it to bear on the problem that they have, help them get clear on what the problem's costing them, why it's a problem, what they could do this time that's going to cause more of the same, what they can do to solve their problem. And you really want to be a consultant, not a used car salesman. So when someone says, bring your booklet, I'm just going to be super curious because I'm not trying to sell them anything. I'm trying to get clear on the problem. Like, I don't even know what you mean by a booklet. What on God, what do you mean? And I don't know what they're going to say, but then I'm just going to be curious about that. A list of clients that you have. Well, tell me about that. What is it you want from that? Well, I just want to know if we can do business for it with you. I'm happy to give you a list of our clients, but you're probably trying to get security or some sort of like, what is it I'm just going to have a gosh darn conversation with them and get us and them crystal clear. Because most of the time, guys, they're not trying to be offensive. They don't know how to buy. So they're like, I guess we just go on the lowest price and, our handbook says get a list of their vendors or who knows what but they don't know why they're doing it or what they're trying to get at. And just having an honest conversation with them. And again, we don't want to just be puppy dogs. It's like, okay, here's your booklet. Here's this. What do I need to do? Can I sharpen my pencil? How cheap can I be? We're the best. We clean really good. We don't cut corners. We clean. Like we kind of get into this, like they throw nickels at us and we dance. That's not going to solve their problem. What's going to solve their problem is having and I'm going to lay down the law. Like if they're like, just bring us a booklet and then you can submit a bid. I'm like, no offense. I've been doing this a minute. I don't need more practice submitting bids. If you're willing, I'm happy to have a conversation, figure out what the problem is and see if I can walk you through a solution. If you just want me to give a bid, but we're not going to have an honest discussion about what it is we're making, bid's just another name for a proposal to solve a problem. I need to be clear on that problem before I'm willing or able to make a proposal to solve that problem. I don't have any time for that. Just give me your best number. My best number is 0 because that's not a process I'm interested in. 9 times out of 10, they're going to be like, holy crap, this guy knows what he's talking about. And they're going to start asking you questions and treating you like the authority that you are. The 1 time at a time, like, fine, we'll just go get the lowest bid. Best of luck. Thank you for raising your hand and letting me know you're not really qualified to be a client. If and when this process you've got is I'm just going to get 100 bids and go with the cheapest one, if that blows up in your face and you want a real conversation with a real professional who knows what they're doing, let's have a conversation. But I don't have a booklet I don't know what you mean by a booklet. Like, to what end? What are you looking for? Like, I'm going to find out what they think they're going to get out of that booklet and be like, let's just figure that out. Because it might not even be something they need. It's usually just fear and they don't know what they're doing. And when people don't know what they're doing, they resort to making no decision, which is not going to help them, or going with the cheapest price, which has probably got them into the problem that they're in now that they're currently trying to solve. So they're trying to use the same nonsense that got them into the problem to get them out of the problem. And that's not going to help. That's why they need a gosh darn professional like you to help them really get clear on the problem and help solve it like a professional.
And Tatiana's in the chat, just like, yes, that's what I was thinking. So right, you're helping job, Tatiana.
Nice to get live feedback.
Yeah. And I love that pivot you made where you took the attention away from this quote unquote booklet and you got curious and asked question. Like, why is that important? You just asked so many good questions and you just focused it right on the prospect. It was just so good. I didn't see that coming, Mike. You surprised me. He still
Every
surprises
now and
me.
again, I'll get even Lindsay, who's been looking a while. I was like, I didn't see that coming. Nice to know we still got a little surprise for you, girl. Hey, Clean Nation, Mike Camping here. One of my least favorite things about these podcasts are we found that people love the show and they love the information, but when I talk to you guys in person, stuff doesn't get done. People love the podcast, but they don't take any action. If you'd like to actually implement this and get this done in your world, we have a whole team of people that do exactly that. If you go to growmycleaningcompany.com/talk, you can book a time with either myself personally or one of our teammates to at least help you come up with a plan to actually implement and change your life. So if you want to go from getting these good ideas in your head to getting in your life, just book a free call with myself or my team, growmycleaningcompany.com/talk, and we can go from this one-to-many format to one-to-one and really get you some results. Excited to talk.
Awesome. All right, let's move on. So I found this post in the Facebook group, and it was just such a problematic commercial issue from Katie. I thought we could help her. So she said, I'm struggling to find a solution to a problematic commercial contract for a restaurant that we clean weekly. Despite sending regular reminders, the client has not paid their 2 outstanding invoices. So long story short, she's texting them. The client is actually saying they're being annoying by texting them, and then they started ignoring them, ignoring Katie. And she says, I've been patient. I've been covering 2 weeks of employees' pay, but now I'm facing financial difficulties. Can you provide guidance on how to approach this situation without being too pushy or annoying? It's a doozy.
First of all, I'm so sorry, Katie, that I've been there and bad debt sucks, because it's not just like, oh, there goes some profit. It's like, no, I lent you money basically in the form of payroll and overhead, all the money, and you're screwing me for it. So I'm so sorry, not to minimize what you're going through. That said, we coach people to get paid in advance always. And I'm going to give kind of a long answer because this is a big one, and it takes a little bit of kind of me selling you on your idea, on this idea, because people get afraid. I can't do it. My clients won't do it. They'll freak out. Well, let me answer Katie's question first, and then we'll talk about why getting paid in advance is so important and give you some context on how to understand it and feel good about it. So to answer your question, Katie, the only leverage any of us have as owners of cleaning companies is to stop cleaning. That's it. That's the only lever you have. Threatening to stop cleaning won't do anything. Texting won't do anything. Begging won't do anything. You have to, that's all you got. And the more money they owe you, the less of a threat that becomes. And again, you're like, well, but if I stop cleaning, they won't pay me ever. Yeah, that's certainly a possibility. I get it. And obviously it's like, I can sue them. Yeah, you can do whatever you want. But you know, the time and money it's going to cost to sue them is generally far greater than any. And again, they're not going to just go, yep, I'm bad. I didn't pay. I should have. They're going to say they didn't do a good job and they cost us money and they lost. They're going to say a bunch of other stuff. So it's not a slam dunk. Even if you're right, doesn't mean you're going to win, because they have a different perspective. And some people will be honest, some people are not. When they're not paying their bills, oftentimes they're not honest. And they might say stuff and whatever. So you can sue them, but you're probably not going to get anything. You can certainly turn over to collections, which is fine. Just don't worry about it. But you're going to get a small percentage. You know, they're going to take a bunch. They're going to settle for less, and then take a percentage. And fine. I just, you know, for me, I don't want to spend my time suing my customers. I don't think that's a good use of my time. And you're like, well, I just walk away from it. I'm like, no, you get paid in advance. So before you start, if you say, I'm not going to clean until I get paid, you have all the leverage. But the more money they owe you and the longer you clean without them paying, the less leverage you have. Because say you owe them nothing, you know, I'm not going to clean. They're pretty motivated to get you to clean. They're going to pay you. Say they owe you $1,000, probably going to pay. But you said, you know, it can get 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 grand. They're like, well, for $5,000, I'll just hire another cleaning company and talk that chump into not charging me for a net 30 or something. And then I can just keep rolling. Yeah, I can just go on and on and on. So truly the only two, I mean, you have 3 options. One, you could sue them, but it's going to cost you more. You may not win. And it's just the worst use of your time. Second, you send them to collections. That's probably not going to have a good result. You might get very little money, if any, at some point in the future. It's not going to be tomorrow. That's for dang sure. 3, you only get paid in advance, and that eliminates all that risk. So let me kind of give you the why. There's only a couple of reasons people wouldn't pay in advance. One is they can't. They're so cash trapped that, you know, a multi-million-dollar restaurant can't pay your $3,800 a month or $6,000 a month. cleaning bill, and you want to know that sooner than later, right? I'm okay. Big. I learned the saying in construction: better to lose a winner than win a loser. And people that can't pay, that's called winning a loser. So oftentimes it's fine if they say we need net 30 terms and it's because they can't really afford or their cash is tight and we say no, dodged a bullet, right? You're like, you think you lost an account, but did you really? If they're not going to pay. And keep in mind, if your profit is 30%, like we coach you, and you go a year of cleaning and they stiff you for 2 or 3 months worth of bills, you didn't make it that whole year, you worked for free, right? So you only have to get stiffed once to really make it cost. So the first reason they would not agree to terms is they don't have the money, which is, and they're basically saying extend me credit with no credit check, no collateral, no fees if we're late, no interest, no nothing. Anything a real bank that extended, that same restaurant, if they go to the bank and be like, hey, give us, five grand a month periodically of labor and services and goods, and you don't have any collateral, don't run a credit check, and we're not going to sign any agreements, and there's going to be no interest, and we're not going to pay anything extra if we're late. And if we don't pay, you're only like, no bank, the banks that's what they do is not going to do it. You're not a bank, man. You're a goddamn cleaning company. So reason one is they don't have the money. It's a great reason not to lend someone money because they're broke, right? And you're like, I'm not lending them money, I'm giving them terms. That's called credit. It's called lending the money. I'm going to do services now that I'm going to pay for, and you will pay me at some point in the future for money I spend today. It's called lending money. So one is they can't afford it, or they can't afford it, but they're so tight, blah, 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 and you're going to constantly be fighting there for money. Pass. I'd rather just not get that account. I'm okay with that. Two, and again, at the beginning, I'm going to just have a conversation with them. A lot of times we let our pride get in the way. So we want to sound big and important, and they will try and big time. Well, we're a big, franchise or whatever. We, the way we always pay net 30, that's just how it is. And they try and make you feel small and stupid, like they're a big company, you're little. And we go, oh yeah, of course, net 30, that makes perfect sense. If that's what everyone does, we'll do that, because you're trying to sound like a big company. But the reality is they are a big company and they're smart, and they don't have your little $5,000 a month payable. They've got food vendors that are into for 50 grand a month, and they've got a rent for 20 grand a month, and they got payroll for 60. Like, they got a bunch of expenses out there, and they know, especially if it's a corporate restaurant with 100 locations, like we might have $6 million in payables in payables at any given time. That the value of that money, if I can hold it for a month or two, is worth a ton. So a savvy CFO on their side is like, yeah, the time value of that money is big, and we're gonna wring that out. Fine, there's nothing wrong with that. But again, typically they're dealing with they're a multi-million-dollar company dealing with another multi-million-dollar company. And those companies do have things, they have lawyers and recourse and things that they can do. So I would just go to them and be like, hey man, I'm not a big company. I'm a little company. And if you pay me or not, I'm going to pay my people. Like, this is how I feed my family. So you'll literally be taking money out of my personal account to pay for these people to lend to you, and I'm too little to do that. My job is to focus exclusively on kicking butt and making your place amazing so you can be the best restaurant you can be. I don't have the time or the skill or frankly the interest in collecting money or figuring it out. And if I'm focused on the money, I can't be focused on you. So because we're so little, I can't afford to lend you that money. And I'm sure you have big vendors that will lend you that money. And maybe there's other cleaners that aren't as sophisticated that will also lend you the money. Or maybe they're super sophisticated and they can take a hit. I can't. So I have to get paid up front. And if they say no, what they're really saying is, I don't care if you live or die. Yeah, if you bankrupt because we go out, fine by me. If I can save a nickel in interest, I don't care if it hurts you at all. That's also a client. I don't want to be in there. I mean, you're going, find people that are willing to, for most restaurants, they get done at midnight or 2, depending on the liquor law. And if they serve liquor, the servers there, it's all 3 or 4. Like, you come in here between 4 a.m. and 11 a.m., 7 days a week, do disgusting, dirty work, and we're going to treat you like garbage? Like, no, thank you. So when we're little, it doesn't make that big of a difference. When you're doing 5, 10, 20 grand a month and you have this, but it's fine. But I can tell you, when you're doing several $1 million a year, when you got $100,000 in money, and the difference between the first of the month, I have a credit card and I run it all and I get $100,000 hit my account the first or the second or the third of every month. And then I pay down my expenses and I'm cash positive. And every time I get a new account, I get paid first and then I lend out money. I can grow as fast as I want. I can focus all of my time and effort onto operations. And I can be a good owner. When you're like, oh, I got net 30, so I've got, so it'll sneak out on you. I have 50,000 in receivables. I got 80,000. I got 100. But if everyone's in that 30, at least you have 100,000 in receivables, and you can't even. So you bill it all. All of January. You bill February 1st. You can't even expect it until March 1st. So you really on 100. You have $200,000 in receivables, and it's like, I still remember when I sold my first 7-figure exit, we had over $1 million in receivables. And that money had just been churning and churning and churning. If I owned that company, I'd probably have 2 million, and I would have never got that money until I sold the goddamn thing. So if you get paid in advance, I sincerely would, and say, and by the way, you'll think, and they'll make you feel like no one will do business with me. If I don't take these terrible credit terms, I'll just be, everyone will tell me no. That's not the truth. Less than 10%, if you handle it properly, will say no. But let's say 20% say no. I would literally rather be an $800,000 a year company, getting all my money paid in advance with no risk of bad debt, 0 seconds of my time spent on, I need my money, I can't do it. Well, can I get a check? Can I come by? Can I get it? None of my time is spent on that. I'd rather do $800,000 at that than $1 million with 200,000, 100,000 in receivables. It's that big of a deal. So it is okay if you lose. Again, better to lose a winner than win a loser. And when you take people to, and I've heard it over and over again. They always pay. They always pay. And I've done this for a decade, and I hear they always pay until they don't. So it starts with they always pay, and maybe they pay for 5 years or 2 years or however long until they don't, and then they don't. And when they don't, it's usually because there's a problem, and now you're stuck, and you just get 5% bad debt a year, which isn't a ton. That means 95% of the people pay. It can crush us. So I really, really, really jump up and down when it comes to getting paid in advance. And to answer the question sincerely, the only thing you do is stop cleaning. I hate to be a jerk about it, but you think, how rude. Could you imagine me lending Lindsay? I asked Lindsay to borrow some money, and she's like, Mike, this is my $100, but this is what I'm paying my rent with. It's really important I get this back. I'll lend it to you, but I got to have it back. And then she texts me back, and I'm like, hey, leave me alone. You're annoying me. She's like, Mike, you gave me your word. You told me I'm trying to pay my rent. Hey, leave me alone. Quit bothering me. Like, what kind of psychopath am I? Like, am I the type of person Lindsay's want to do business with? Like, that's crazy. So the cojones on these people who owe you money and are taking advantage of you to say, quit annoying me, red flags all over the place. So I'm going to quit cleaning, send it to collections, and I'm only going to work paid in advance. And I know it sounds crazy, but cash is king, baby. And you can't pay bills on a receivable. You need cash to pay a receivable. All right. I feel like I ranted way too long. Are we good? You tell me, Liz. I don't know if we have time for another question.
Preach, Mike. Preach. And I need that $100 to feed my cats. Come on, man.
Quit annoying me. Leave me alone. I ain't got no time for that.
You know what we're going to do, Mike? We've had Cleaning Nation commercial side needs so much help. We're going to just continue this next week and dive into even more questions. I think we'll cut it here and continue.
Cool. All right. Commercial folks, get your questions in. Again, support@growmycleaningcompany.com. Lindsay gets those. Ask it in the Facebook group. You can tag Lindsay. And guys, gals, if you're like, man, this all sounds good, but I'm scared and I need some help and I need some support. If you're not getting the results that you want on your cleaning company, feel free to give us a call. Go to the website. There's nothing for sale. We're here to help. We do offer paid coaching, but at the beginning, we just do what we can to see if we can help. So reach out, get some help, whether it's from us or somebody else. Get the help that you need. Don't keep doing the same thing, hoping you'll get a different result. Do something different. Reach out, get the help you deserve. We'll talk soon. See you. Hey, Cleaning Nation, if you dug the content you just got, we don't do any ads and I don't sell anything on this podcast, but if you would just subscribe, rate, and review, it would be huge and I'd be so appreciative. Not only is it going to help me, but you'll help other owners of cleaning companies across the world work less, make more, and get profitable. So if you appreciate the value we give, again, subscribe, rate, and review. It would mean the world to me. I'd really appreciate it. And we sure appreciate your time and attention.